Not so very long ago, though the city of New York was still young, from the land beside Central Park a new sort of building sprung. A montage of modern conveniences, the residential high-rise building grew. Running hot water, elevators, doormen, all of it was new. But it's been a long time that we've been placing ourselves in dwellings close to the sky and asking ourselves the perennial question, who gets the top floor and why? Were these vertical experiments reserved for elites, or to warehouse the poor away from the streets? Like all good stories, the high-rise has its own creation myth. The Bible's Tower of Babel and God's reaction forthwith. People of one language, high into the clouds the tower they built. But God disapproved, so people broken into many languages across the earth he spilt. The Romans were the first to build early apartment living, multi-story blocks called insulae, but made of mud and timber they were unforgiving. The higher the floor, the cheaper the rent. The working poor lived here, fires and collapses they couldn't prevent. In the cliffs of Arizona, mysterious forms of housing soon appeared. It's been supposed these cliff dwellings are from where the elites commandeered. In rural China's Fujian province, in stacked circular homes of wood, whole clans of families up to 80 lived together for the common good. All rooms were equal, even windows, doors, and walls. For centuries, communal living was part of these people's laws. And another vertical wonder in Yemen's dusty sands, a medieval Manhattan of the desert, still occupied today, made of mud by the inhabitants' own hands. Vertical living got a major game changer when Louis XV commissioned an early elevator. To his apartment in Versailles from his mistress 1 floor above him, the king was known to hoist her down on a chair so she could love him. But without reliable brakes to assuage the common man's dread, they feared a contraption that went up and down could take off somebody's head. And as the elevator propelled the Industrial Revolution, people had to live near work and its industrial pollution. In Berlin, London, New York, and others, immigrants crammed in with no sunlight to be with their brothers. For decades these dwellers lived, died there without much public sentiment. The cities were growing with this notorious new walkout called the tenement. By the end of the century, Manhattan's Lower East Side was the world's densest area by far and wide. Nobody cared until a photographer reviewed the situation. Jacob Riis's stunning collection would begin the conversation. In 1901, major housing reforms were read, but much, much bigger changes were ahead. The stuff of which cities are now made, whether luxurious or forlorn. The high-rise as we know it was now being born.